Hey everybody, welcome back to ChortleCast. I'm Jake, and alongside me, Steven, the streamy boy, the Far Cry guy, whatever. Neo 2 guy. Hey, I'm the lamppost guy now, so we've had a lot of fun this past week at E3. So we're tired, we're exhausted, I'm emotional. I got a little teared up today thinking about E3 being over. So
wow,
I don't know, it hit me hard. I was just like, E3's over, man. Like, what do I do now? But anyway, if you didn't know, this is ChortleCast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about TV shows, animes, movies, video games, mostly video games because we play video games and we're a video game. Games is in the name of our official channel.
Are there any non-video game topics today?
Or is it just... I don't know why I even mentioned TV shows or movies or anime first, because it's always games. Almost always games. So I don't know why.
Best for last. That's why. Best for last.
Best for last.
That's why you introduce me after you introduce yourself.
You know, I should start flipping that around. That's a good point. I should start flipping that around. Anyway, today we've got a great show for you. Of course, E3 has been going on all this past week. If you are a subscriber or you frequent our channel, you will have noticed for sure, because we've posted almost 50 videos this week, I think. Maybe more than that. Of E3 coverage content. So if you haven't seen any of that and want to see our reactions and thoughts on a lot of the games we saw, you can go back and watch those. But today we're going to be going conference by conference, talking about what we saw that we're really excited about. So we're not going to go through a whole list of everything. We're just going to go through the things that we are really pumped about. We're going to rate each conference. There were 7 that we covered, so we're going to go from 1 to 7, what was the best and the worst. And then at the end, we're going to pick which conference we enjoyed the most. And then we're going to pick the official Chortle Games game of E3. So, yeah. So, anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So, you ready, Steven?
I am ready.
All right, let's do this. So, first on the docket, EA, get your head in the game, or whatever it is.
It's in the game.
Yeah, get your head in the game, it's in the game, whatever. So EA gets a lot of crap because they go first, and we joked a lot that they go first because they're the worst. But they did that. That doesn't mean they didn't have some cool, exciting announcements. So, Steven, I'm pretty sure we're both going to say the same thing for this one.
Yeah.
I have an additional one that I know you're not going to say, but what was your favorite game that they talked about at EA?
Definitely FIFA 19. You know, it was Anthem. It was Anthem. It was always Anthem. It was going to always be Anthem, and it will be Anthem until they show something else that is Anthem.
I mean, we pretty much knew that going in. That's the same for me. Anthem was so cool to see in action and to see some of the new javelins that they did. Even the cool 3D thing that they did at the very top of the show was really cool.
Like, what was that?
So that was really, really cool. They did have some other announcements for some other titles. It did focus a lot on sports. But another one that snuck in there that I was really excited about was Sea of Solitude. It's EA kind of saying they want to do some more really focused story titles that are a little bit smaller, kind of like A Way Out. And so this is a new developer called with Sea of Solitude. So it's this game. You're like this girl who's turning into a monster because there's some darkness of loneliness inside you. And you're like traveling on a boat, and there's all sorts of platforming elements, and they had this really cool art style. I was pumped for it. It's certainly no Anthem, but I was really excited about it. So anyway, we're not going to see Anthem until February 22nd.
Which is sooner than we expected.
A lot sooner than I was expecting. So I guess I can't really complain. But I don't know. I'm really excited for that game. Have you had any thoughts since you've just sat and we were all really hyped when we were watching it. But there's a lot of stuff that's come out since they showed it. Like we've learned there are going to be more javelins and things like that. After mulling it over, Steven, what do you think about it now?
Well, we say mulling it over. It's been hard to mull over a single thing.
Yeah.
But I will say regarding the way EA did it, they spent a long time on Anthem. They showed a trailer. They had a Q&A where they answered some really important questions regarding customization, microtransactions, all that kind of stuff. And then they showed gameplay, and then they announced a release date. It was the time it deserved and needed.
Yeah.
And so after mulling it over, I mean, people say, oh, this looks generic. This just looks like Destiny in a robot suit. And to that I say, what's your point? Because that sounds amazing.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be this all new, all great thing. As long as it does what it seeks to do well, then it's going to be good. I mean, we all get to be Iron Man basically in a online co-op shooter. I mean, what's
for real? Honestly, the flying takes a whole lot. Like that in and of itself, in my mind, makes it different enough from Destiny to be its own thing. But regardless, it does sound like a lot. They have a lot of similarities, but even still, I think the world is different. I think the mythology, the lore of the world is going to be completely different, and I think even what you're going to be doing largely is going to be different. I mean, obviously shooting, and that's similar, but I don't know. And then we think the Storm has some sort of magic energy abilities that, I mean, sure, we have the supers in Destiny, but even that I think is more based on weapons, and I don't know. Anyway, I mean,
and it's BioWare.
Yeah.
That in and of itself separates it from Destiny and The Division.
Yeah.
These are guys that are the masters of storytelling and character development.
Yeah.
And the way they talked this year makes it sound like there is going to be more story than we would expect from a game like that.
Yeah.
And so that's encouraging. That's reason enough to buy it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. So I watched Anthem without thinking about, it's connected to BioWare. So it was so funny when I saw the headline that was like, Anthem will have no relationships in the game. And I was like, why would it? Like, what, like, who thought that would be a fun idea? And of course, it's because in all the past BioWare games, that's been a huge element of the story and what you do and how that affects the story and everything. So it's funny to think that there are Mass Effect fans who are watching this saying, is this going to be my next Mass Effect? And I don't think it is. I don't think by any stretch. I think it would be closer to Destiny in that regard than Mass Effect.
And that's okay. Because we've seen, I mean, everything that BioWare did, they're the kind of developer that when you think of BioWare, you think of awesome story games. But everything they did was at one point something different.
Right.
And Anthem is their new something different. And I'm okay with that. I'm 100% down for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for it too. All right. Let's move on. So Microsoft did, I think, 50 games they showed in their thing. They probably had the most games out of anybody.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily exclusives, but they
definitely not exclusives.
They did show the most amount of games. So I think this is one of the ones I have a couple that I'm really excited about from what we saw there. But I'm sure one of them is going to be the same for us. Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the number one thing from Microsoft that I saw that I was just like, yes, this looks so good. It's CD Projekt Red's new game, the makers of The Witcher. I didn't realize this, Steven. You may have known this, but Cyberpunk 2077 is based off of a board game called Cyberpunk 2020. Okay, I didn't know if you knew that. I didn't know that. I thought this was something completely new. But the guy who made the board game, he's been approached by, I think he said, 50 plus developers who wanted to like make a video game out of it, and he basically it was 50 other developers before CD Projekt Red came, and he was like, okay, you guys can do it. So that's a lot, and they definitely have the weight to back that up. But
well, if you're gonna get a developer that'll do your source material justice, you get the people that did The Witcher.
I mean,
like, that's just
no kidding. But anyway, it looks awesome. We found out some details afterwards that I still think we have probably another year or two before we might hear a release date, but I think it's probably a year or two before we'll have it.
Yeah.
They seemed like they said they didn't want to show anything again until they really had something to show. I do think some people have played gameplay demos, so it's possible we may get that next year or see something from that later on down this year's line. But I wouldn't think maybe next year's E3 we might get a release date or even a release window. But I don't think it's anywhere close to being done. That said, though, the world looks awesome. You get to make your own character. And the interesting thing, it's going to be first person. It's going to be a first person RPG, which I'm not thrilled about. I'm more in the camp of, no, I want it to be third person like The Witcher. But since you're going to be shooting a lot, I guess that makes a little bit of sense. But they did want to stress that it was a first person RPG and not a first person shooter. And apparently you can do all sorts of weird stuff in the game. Like apparently there's nudity and you can have one night stands and stuff. And I don't know why I know this, but it was in an article I read. So anyway, it still looks good. I'm excited to play it, to see more. And I want to know like what are we going to be doing in this game? Because obviously in The Witcher you're going on monster hunts. There's all this political intrigue that's going on. So what's going to be happening in Cyberpunk?
Yeah. We don't know a lot. It's really cool that we've seen a lot from it. Seen more from it. I'm 100% in. It looks really cool. It sounds really cool. The way they announced it was really cool.
Yes, that was a great announcement.
Yeah.
They hacked in to the conference and like there was digits happening everywhere. And apparently, I don't know if you've heard about this, Stephen, but on the monitors on stage, there were codes being displayed. And those codes were for free copies of The Witcher 3 on Steam. And so there were like maybe 25 or so screens up there, and they all had an individual code. So, of course, at this point, they've all been used up. But that was just kind of a fun little nod.
What a way to do that.
There was a lot going on. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Was that what you were going to say from your big thing from Microsoft, or did you have a couple other ones? Why don't you go next on yours?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything about Cyberpunk because I knew you'd have it covered. But so Microsoft, they had a very enjoyable press conference.
It was really, really good. I honestly, and we'll get to this in a minute, but it was probably the press conference that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's weird saying that because I'm a PlayStation 4 player. I never touch my Xbox. And I walked away from that press conference saying, wow, there's a lot of really cool stuff I'm going to be able to play.
Right.
And I walked away from it also saying, wow, I still don't need my Xbox.
Right.
So for them, it I don't know if it did a lot of good.
Yeah.
Because they didn't justify having an Xbox. They showed, I think, Forza, Gears of War 5, and Halo Infinity. And that was it. I think. And so for them, like as a company, for the benefit they got from it, sure, there were some launch exclusives, but that's a big word right there. Launch could mean anywhere from like a month early to a year early, which is not that great of a deal.
Right.
Or it could mean something along the lines of DLC exclusivity, like Division was at the Xbox conference, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but more on that during UB.
Right.
And Division, the only deal they have with Microsoft is a month early access to DLC, I think.
Right.
So for me, zeroing back in, I really enjoyed seeing more from Metro Exodus.
Oh, yeah.
And we got a release
that's one I
date.
completely forgot about.
Sorry, you cut out for a sec. We got a release date for it. And it's February, which I'm gonna
Q1 of next year is gonna be off the charts. I mean, we've got Kingdom Hearts in January. We've got like 3 games coming out in February 22nd. It's Anthem, Days Gone. There's some other one that snuck in there. I forget which.
Metro Exodus.
Is it Metro? And then Destiny or Division 2 in March.
March 15th.
I mean, gee whiz. It's crazy.
But all that being said, there were some really enjoyable spots. I was engaged the whole time, but the whole time I couldn't help but think, why should I get an Xbox?
Right.
And I already have an Xbox. But, but all in all, great conference.
Yeah.
So good job.
Did you have any other games from that you wanted to talk about or highlight? Or that just had you pumped?
Goodness. I'm trying to remember what all was there. There were so many of them.
While you think, because you mentioned Metro. This was the first place we saw a Kingdom Hearts trailer.
Right.
It was the trailer that has Aquanort, as the fans are calling her, which is Aqua, who is a character from the games, who has been possessed by Xehanort. So I'm not going to go into all the mythology of it, but that was a huge moment.
Thank you.
Besides, it was just the first time we had seen Kingdom Hearts. I'm pretty sure that was when they showed Frozen for the first time.
Yeah, it was.
And that was just awesome. That was exciting to see all that. So Kingdom Hearts being shown there was awesome. And then the other big thing that I'm excited about, and this is an Xbox exclusive thing, is the Cuphead DLC that they announced. It's like the delicious last course or something like that. They introduced a new character, which is Miss Chalice, which is a spoof off of Lady Chalice, or the legendary Chalice, which is she was a character who would give you new super abilities if you rescued her from mausoleums. Anyway, she was a fun character. So now you can play as her as a Cuphead. So anyway, that game first off, that game was just awesome. And so to have I was hoping we'd get like a Cuphead 2 announcement or something. So DLC is almost just as good in my mind. So hopefully we'll get to stream that. Steven might be joining me this time instead of Brody. I don't know. We're going to see how that all plays out.
I have not played Cuphead yet.
I know. So it'll be good. See, I'll be training you now. Yeah. I'll be teaching you how to be good at the game now. I'm still going to be horrible. But anyway, I'm really excited about that one too. So, but yeah, Microsoft overall was the pacing was really enjoyable, and they did have a lot of great announcements, not even necessarily for Xbox people, but still some good stuff going on there. All right, let's move on to Bethesda. What are you excited about from Bethesda, Steven?
Rage.
Oh, that's right. I forget you're a Rage 2 fan. You were really excited about it.
So here's my thing about Bethesda's. They had a really solid, really enjoyable press conference. They did. I'm just not huge into their games.
Right.
And that's a personal choice. It's not because I think they're bad games.
It's certainly not from quality. They have some awesome games, and the ones that I have played I've enjoyed. It's just like Doom. Doom is one that I'm just not into that kind of gameplay. I'm just not into shooters in general. And so it really takes a special something in the game to really catch me, like an Iron Man suit or magic or something, or a bow, for God's sake. And Doom just doesn't have that. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm right there with you. Like the conference itself was really, really fun. They had that rock guy come out, and he apparently voices one of the you remember the head on the wall? Yeah. He voices that monster in the game, apparently, or something like that. Anyway, I'll give you this, Steven. Rage 2, the gameplay they showed me looked really good. It reminded me a lot of Dishonored with, you have special abilities, but the combat and the tools that you had at your disposal were just mind-blowing. It was crazy.
It just looks really slick and fun.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture of Doom and Bulletstorm with some Dishonored in there, which is a really weird marriage.
But it works. It really, really works.
Yeah.
It was very fun to watch. So, Well, the thing I'm most excited about, and this is not like, I wouldn't put this near like my favorite game I saw, but from Bethesda, I was most excited about Fallout 76. And I know Miles would be remiss if we didn't mention that. But it looks cool. I'm interested to play it. I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to have the same issue that I have with Sea of Thieves, which is no one's going to let me have any fun. So, because I'm just not going to be good enough to fight off hordes of other players who just want to screw with people. So I don't know that I will enjoy it that much, but I'm curious to try it, and I'm excited to see what else is going to come out of it. But that was the thing I was most excited to see. And then obviously, you know, they announced Elder Scrolls 6, and they announced Starfield. So some exciting announcements, but those are kind of things we saw like a frame, you know, of something that's like, this is coming, get excited, but nothing enough to be like, oh, that's the announcement I'm walking away from this with. So
I think my favorite thing about the Bethesda conference is that for once I was spot on with nearly everything. And in the past, I've been so bad at predicting what they're going to do, but this time it was like, wow, I actually kind of nailed it.
Yeah. I was just laughing because we got the Starfield announcement, and then I was like, great, Steven was right. We're going to be wrong. There's no Elder Scrolls 6 happening. And then it happened. So it was fun. That was fun.
And I even said that if they show Elder Scrolls, it's just going to be a title.
Yeah, and I figured, and they didn't even give us that much. It was just Elder Scrolls 6, like it's coming. But we don't know what. A lot of people are saying Hammerfell. Yeah. A lot of people are saying it's still going to be in the Skyrim universe.
I've heard Somerset, which I mean I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything about Elder Scrolls mythology,
right?
But, overall, it was a good conference, but again, I personally wasn't interested in most of the games.
Yeah. They did have some cool Prey announcements too, and I forgot about those. But
they did. They did. And Prey is one of those games that I did trade it in, but I really want to play it again. Because it was a very unique, inventive horror FPS.
Right.
And I might get it again. If I can find it cheap enough, I might play it during October or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Fallout 76... I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about them being like, hey, build a lot of stuff, but also there are nukes.
Other players can get nukes and can nuke you at any given point. Okay, cool.
That just gives me a bad vibe. That game, people are going to love it because it's Fallout. It's going to get a free pass. People are going to buy it and play it for a really long time. But it's going to be unenjoyable in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And it's just,
but it's going to be a good game.
It's that same trappings of if you're not willing to deal with other people screwing up stuff, and if you're not willing to just have fun with the destructiveness of it, then it's not going to be fun for you. So anyway, all right, let's move on to Square Enix conference.
All right, moving on from Square.
So yeah, that was a great conference. Let's move on. Ubisoft next, I think. No. So Square, I don't know what the hell happened. So Square does not always have a conference. They typically do a conference like every 2 or 3 years or so when they have like a bunch of big announcements. And we predicted early this year, even before they started saying, we were like, well, let's think they've got that new Avengers game. They've got a new Shadow of Tomb Raider. They could come out with a Just Cause 4. They've got Kingdom Hearts 3 coming down the line. There's Final Fantasy 7. Like, we were like, okay, they have a lot of games they could talk about this year. Maybe they'll be here. They were here, and they brought crap. And not even that. It's not even that they brought crap. Like, they showed Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They showed Kingdom Hearts 3. They showed some Final Fantasy online stuff. They showed a couple newer, smaller titles, but they kind of just showed concept art on. But like they did not show. They showed very few things that we hadn't seen at someone else's conference already. Like especially coming behind Microsoft, because Microsoft showed Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm pretty sure it showed Just Cause 4.
It did.
It showed it showed Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, they didn't have a lot of announcements that were kept strictly to theirs. Like they did a pretty in-depth thing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They showed some gameplay. But like, okay, what's your next announcement? Just Cause 4. They showed a little bit of gameplay. Okay, great. What's next? They showed Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's the game I'm picking from this that I like cared most about. But it was the same, almost exactly the same trailer from Microsoft, which frustrated me because I was like, great, we're not going to see any more of this game. Now, I will say I specified that it was mostly the same. There are like 3 or 4 shots that are different, and there were like 2 or 3 dialogue lines that were different, but it still showed Frozen. We got to look at Ratatouille. We got to look at one of the other Organization 13 members who wasn't in the other one. So there were some new things, but it wasn't like, here's a new pirate level, which we'll get to. But, you know, they didn't show anything brand new, which I thought was just a misstep on their part. But anyway, overall, I was really disappointed in their conference. Pacing wise, it was fine. I mean, they did a video direct kind of like Nintendo does, and it was fine. But it was just like, why even show up to show the same trailers that you've already shown at other people's conference? So I don't know. I was very disappointed from Squares, and they didn't mention the Avengers game. They didn't mention Final Fantasy VII remake or remaster. It was just disappointing.
Yeah, like it was like 30 minutes, and the 3 big games had already been shown the day before. Yeah, and no Avengers project, which has me a little nervous.
God, that was a huge surprise. Not having
that's one of the bigger surprises for me, is that we just didn't hear anything from it. But I mean, they showed a little bit for that Switch RPG,
Octopath Traveler, yeah. And they talked about that at Nintendo too, so it was like,
yeah, they did.
If Square hadn't shown up, we still would have known about everything they talked about, just about.
The one thing that I was like, oh, that could be interesting, was Babylon's Fall.
Right.
Is a new Platinum Games game, which could be good. It
was huge,
but great. I saw a trailer, no release window, I don't think.
Nope.
They just were like, hey, it's coming.
It's coming. And it didn't even really, I think there was like one scene that was like animated. Everything else was just kind of images and like concept art. And it could be final art, but it was just like paintings and portraits and stuff. Which I understand that takes a level of skill to do too, but it was just like, I have no idea what this game is. Like I can assume it has some sort of spiritual or religious context to it, but like I have no idea what this game is. Anyway, Squares was just very disappointing. Speaking of disappointment, I'm just kidding. Ubisoft.
No, that's a good segue. That it was disappointing in a lot of ways.
Oh, really? You were disappointed?
I mean, disappointed in that it did not feel like a traditional Ubisoft press conference. I was very pleased that Aisha Tyler was nowhere to be found. That was very encouraging. But I'll get to the good stuff after I talk about this. But there was no Splinter Cell.
That's right.
Not only was there no Splinter Cell, there was no last announcement.
Right.
They had no shock. And it was like, when everybody walked up on stage, I was like, there's no way. They've got to do something, because that's been their MO since, 2011, 2012?
Right.
And just that was just like, dang. Like, it was a gut punch a little bit.
Right.
Because Ubisoft is my favorite of the big third-party developers. And so I always look forward to how they're going to surprise me and make me hype for this thing that I barely know anything about. And they just didn't do that.
Right.
But they did have some good things. Mario plus Rabbids, the DLC with Donkey Kong, looked pretty fun.
Yeah, that looked way more in depth than I was expecting. I hate that I've lost like all my save data from that game.
Yeah.
Because I don't know which I don't even know if that would affect it. Really, I might could try it, but I loved Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So
Yeah.
I would love to have more of that game, especially to see Donkey Kong, and they added Cranky Rabbid.
Yeah.
It looked great. They showed new levels, new worlds, new fights. I was shocked at how much was in there. So it looks really good.
Starlink looked cool.
Oh my gosh, I did not care about that game until Star Fox showed up.
Yeah.
Now I've pre-ordered it. I'm getting it. I'm so pumped about it.
So here's my thing. Star Fox is a really good blend with that game.
It is.
I'm glad. I'm glad to see Ubi and Nintendo working so closely together.
Can I interject a story here real quick? This is
Yes.
a developer behind the scenes type of story. So how that happened was, Starlink was shown last year at Ubi. They showed the plane building and all that jazz. And at that point, I thought it was a Switch exclusive. But anyway, supposedly the word is when Nintendo saw the game at last year's E3, they approached Ubisoft and was like, hey, we like this. We think Star Fox would be a fun mix with this. Here's what you can do. Like, here's what here's your box you have to stay in, but it's a pretty big box. Like, we'd love to see Star Fox in this for the Switch.
Yeah.
And they took that and ran with it. And I think it's so cool and was such a surprise. I loved your reaction to it, and I wish I could have been there because I would have been geeking out too. But it looks really fun.
I will say the gameplay that I saw on the floor later in the week, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because it's less. What I saw was less airplane, more hover tank.
Yeah. So there's some flying elements to it. You can land. You can quote unquote land on the ground. You skim on the ground. Do kind of like you said, a floating tank. But then supposedly there's some puzzle elements and there's some RPG elements that they kind of mentioned. So I'm curious to see more of it. I think as a Switch title, it's worth it. Not that there's not a bunch of great stuff on the Switch, but like the Switch is something I always end up playing when I cannot get to any other system. And
Right.
I am a lot more willing to try something on the Switch than I am on the PlayStation or on Xbox even. So for me, it looks great. Honestly, the coolest thing about the gameplay to me, and I hate it a little bit, is the physical aspect of it. They were showing some stuff on Treehouse Live today, which is Nintendo's live streams at E3. A guy was playing the game. You have physical ships that are on your controller that you can put different weapons on, and it'll trade out weapons and stuff. But apparently you can mix and match wings and ships and anything. So they had a ship, and the guy put the wing on backwards. And in the game, it shows the wing on backwards. And it'll fly normal and everything, but you can also put the guns on backwards, so you'll be shooting behind you, which is something you can kind of use. They showed you can stack a wing on top of a wing and then add a gun and another wing, and you can just take it to weird
That's crazy.
places.
Yeah.
But it works and it's fun. But so all that to say, that's interesting in and of itself. But I was watching them play, and as they were playing, he started out with a main gun and then kind of a rocket launcher. But as he was playing, the rocket launcher was starting to become less and less useful. He needed something else, so he just pulled it off and slapped on something else, and they started using it right away, which I thought was a really cool element of the game. But anyway, I don't know. I don't want any of the physical stuff. Which fun thing is you don't need any of it. You can buy all the content that you would get from a physical toy. You can buy digitally for cheaper.
That's great.
But
I had no idea.
Oh, I thought I texted you that in my. I think
No.
Brody and I text something at the same time, and his was longer. So
Gotcha.
Anyway, yeah, you don't need any of the physical toys, which is great because I just don't need that.
But the toys do look cool for the people that want them.
They are freaking cool. And so another fun thing. Now this is a frustration I have with Amiibo, especially in games like Legend of Zelda. So in Legend of Zelda, you can drop in the Wolf Link, and Wolf Link will appear in the game. I love that. you can't do that without having that amiibo. So if I'm going to play that and I want to have Wolf Link, I've got to have that amiibo with me. With this game, once you add a pilot, like once you use it once, the physical toy, the game knows you have it and it's there digitally. So
that's great.
If you have it for fun when you're, let's say with you, Steven, when you're playing with your brothers and sisters, if they want to play with the physical toy, awesome. But then when you're off on your own, say on a plane, and you're like, man, I'm just feeling some Starlink right now, you can have access to all your ships without paying extra or doing something like that.
And that releases in October, doesn't it?
One moment.
Okay.
Let me find it. I have it here. It is in October. Yes, October 16th.
Okay.
So I didn't write down that I pre-ordered it, but I think I did. I'm going to try and if I haven't, I'm going to, because I really liked it.
So we talked way more about Starlink than I thought we would, but
I love Starlink. I'll skip ahead.
Yeah.
I know one you weren't excited about was I put God versus Evil. That's not right. It's Beyond Good and Evil. I saw the new trailer. It looked interesting. Still don't really know much. I know, was it Jade? Is that her name? Who showed up at the end. So that was cool. Still don't know. They didn't give a release date. They didn't show really any more gameplay. So I'm still excited
and that's the
about
thing
that
is
game,
like,
and they did show it, but we didn't really learn much else.
I feel like a large portion of the people watching that though have no idea what Beyond Good and Evil is.
Right.
Aside from, that's that monkey game that they showed last year.
Right.
And so for people like me who don't know what it is, all I'm sitting there thinking is, wait, why is this? Wait, what is that? This looks pretty, but what's going on?
Yeah, the cinematics look great, and even in the trailer, like there's some giant space wave that comes, and she's flying in, and I don't know. It's I'm really excited to see more, and I want to see gameplay. So I was hoping we'd see gameplay this E3, but hopefully next E3 we'll see some more. What else did you want to talk about from Ubi? I didn't know if you wanted to talk about.
I think you know.
We haven't gotten to what you really want to talk about yet.
Yeah, the Division 2.
Yeah.
It had way more presence this year than I thought it would. Honestly, I was expecting them to show a trailer, a gameplay concept, and then we not hear from it much, except for scattered things for another year. Then it releases fall of 2019. That's kind of what I was expecting. But this game looks more finished than Anthem does. And it's coming out after Anthem.
Right.
But less than a month after Anthem, which not happy about that. I'm happy that I'm getting both games sooner, but it's like, man, these games are not going to succeed.
Right. Well, it's just going to suck. Well, at least, I mean, I'm probably getting Division 2 as well just to play with you, but it's going to suck it's going to suck more for the Division than it is for Anthem. Because Anthem's going to come out, people are going to get it, they're going to play it, and then they're not going to get Division when it comes out. They're going to wait. And they're going to wait because they're so busy playing Anthem, and they're happy where they are. And then maybe later, if Division has a sale, people will jump on and get that. So, I don't know.
Well, they did show a lot.
Yeah.
The new story trailer was really cool. It did another one of those one-shot trailers where it is like you've got a camera and it's going backwards through a scene, showing the effects of the virus and everything, which was really cool. The gameplay looks great. It looks more slick. Looks relatively the same, but sequelified in a good way.
Right.
To where there's more skills, there's more depth. So here's my thing. I was expecting Ubi, the developer that almost always gives into trends and almost always gives into what people complain about.
Right.
I expected them to come out with Division 2 and be like, oh yeah, here's the virus is still a thing, but hey, we're in Washington, but look at this battle royale mode we made for the game. Right. And that's what I was expecting. I was worried for Division. I really was. And then they come out and show all story, all co-op gameplay, and then they announce we have more in-game, 8-player raids, which is crazy. And then they were like, here's these things called specializations, which is another skill tree track that gives you a special weapon that defines your role and further defines skills that you already have. So it's basically them saying, hey, we're going all in with the co-op aspect,
Right.
and taking a classless game and giving it a light class system, which is music to my ears.
Right.
Because that's my preference.
Right.
And so they showed all that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It wasn't surprising.
Right.
Which normally, with UB, you get the E3 surprises, but because it had leaked that it was in Washington before the Microsoft conference. We already knew that. And then it was shown at the Microsoft conference. But it was just everything I wanted from this game is what they're giving me so far. All that needs to happen now is they need to give us more content at launch with this one than they did with the previous one, to where there's more modes, there's better in-game, but that sounds like that's what they're doing. So I'm pumped about that game. I was really happy to hear more about it. I found myself looking for every ounce of information from the developers, every interview I could. But
Video games are so
looks
cool,
good.
man. I just love video games.
They are. Love video games.
So honorable mention for me is Assassin's Creed Origins, or Odyssey, I mean.
Odyssey. I forgot that was there.
Yeah, I put ACO, and I just now realized that Origins and Odyssey both would count for that. So, yeah, they showed a pretty good amount of it, and it looks great. I don't know. The last Assassin's Creed Origins was good. I thought it made it Assassin's Creed feel different, and I enjoyed my time with it. I found myself at a certain point I stopped going through side missions, and I stopped trying to find like cool things, and just started blowing through the story because I wanted to be done with it. I think I'm getting that way more and more just as a gamer. I don't think that has anything to do with the game itself, but I just don't know that I am going to enjoy what they showed for Odyssey as much. But they did show a lot of great stuff. There's the sea stuff is back. The combat system looks like it's just been revamped from Origins, which is a good thing. People really enjoy that. And for the first time, well, not for the first time, but you can pick, do you want to be a girl or a boy in this game, and then go on from there. And that's really cool. I know a lot of people are excited about that. There's also relationships in the game that you can choose relationships. So they showed a lot of stuff, and it's going to be interesting, but I just don't know how I feel about it yet. So anyway, all right, let's move on to Sony.
Oh,
did you have one
quick
other
honorable mention? Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. Oh yeah,
that.
I forgot about that one too. So I was watching our stream, and so you were really, towards the end were like, okay, they made this a joke, and now it's cool. Like, I want to know about it.
It's. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, it still reminds me of a For Honor type system, which they're doing a lot for Honor to help it, and a lot of people like it now. So I hope it will have this. I hope it will be better than For Honor. That naval combat that we saw in the Assassin's Creed games, that this is kind of taking to another level. It looked good, and I know. Well, you mentioned a lot about Sea of Thieves. It does some things that Sea of Thieves doesn't do, and then it does some things that Sea of Thieves does better. So talk about that a little bit.
So, but my understanding of the game is it's going to have a mixture of PvE and PvP, and it sounds like it's going to be open world, which you're stuck in the boat, but the boat combat looks so fun, so cinematic, and it's a pretty game that it's like, yeah, I can't get off my boat and explore the islands necessarily,
right?
But when when the boat looks so alive, like whenever you go up to your the crow's nest, it actually goes up there and you see your scout. He's like looking for things, and it's like, if I could customize, they showed boat customization, and there are stats, so things matter. if I could like customize my whole crew and be like, this person does this, and more personalize not only the ship itself, but who's doing what on the ship, that would be really cool. That would make the ship something more fun to look at. But overall, like, it looks to do a game where you're stuck in a pirate ship about as well as you can do it.
Right. Yeah.
But it looks fun.
Yeah. I'm interested to see more in it, a lot more than I'm more interested than I was in last E3. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to Sony. Very weird conference.
It was really weird.
I mean, Sony in the past has had really great conferences. They tried something new this year, and I really hope they don't ever do it again because it was just really weirdly paced.
Sony, I will say this for Sony, and I think I did last year too. They do a lot for the people that get to be there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this time it was maybe going too far in that direction.
Right.
So it's cool for them, and for us, it's just kind of like, well,
yeah.
I'm not there.
Well, we won't go too far into that. So, Sony, obviously, they announced they were going to do 4 big games. They ended up showing a lot more than just, well, I say a lot more. They ended up showing more than those 4, but the big 4 took up a lot of time. So,
right.
Steven, what were kind of some of your favorite things that came out of Sony? What were you most excited about walking away from it?
Okay. I'm going to mention 2 things here.
Okay.
One is the unexpected one, but I'll get the more obvious one out of the way.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like after that Spider-Man trailer, I've been hype on the game.
Right.
But seeing that trailer, I was just like, man, I need this game right now. Like just the thought of getting to play that.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, and the Sinister Six. I don't know. I hadn't heard any rumors about the Sinister Six. I hadn't thought about it being a thing. That was an exciting announcement for who you're going to be fighting.
The villains look awesome.
Oh,
they've got really cool costume designs. Yeah. But yeah, it looks so fun. Hearing Spider-Man talk, being quippy, and fighting a group of his gallery all at once. Just it looks so respectful of the Spider-Man lore, but it's going to give us something we haven't seen before.
Right.
Which is all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Honestly. But my less known one, and you probably know what I'm going to say at this point, Control.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Control. Yeah.
So, and I figured you're going to mention the other big game, so I figured I would just piggyback off of you because we're going to talk about them.
Yeah.
But
we're going to talk about them.
Control was this game that was this girl who looked like she was like in a dream world or something, and she had all these superpowers. It was a third-person shooter, and it looked awesome. And when we were watching this is on our reaction, and this was after we'd been getting some comments regarding jumping the gun on some things. And so I had this thought in my head. I was just like, this looks just like Quantum Break. And I was like, Steven, don't say it. Don't say it. And then I saw this thing that was like, it looked just like something from Quantum Break, and I was like, you know what? I've done stupider things. Guys, I'm probably jumping the gun here, but this looks just like Quantum Break. Yeah. And then you were like, oh, you're right, it does. And then I quickly was like, I know that's an Xbox exclusive, but
it looks
bear
like
with me.
Yeah.
It looked just like it. And then we saw that the game was called Control, and then the final piece of the puzzle, it's done by Remedy. Right. Remedy is a developer. Alan Wake, Max Payne, Quantum Break. They do amazing third-person story games that play well, but also the stories are just great. Yeah. And they've been with Xbox. And I did think it was weird when Microsoft announced the different studios they were basically buying. I thought it was interesting that Remedy wasn't one of them, but I didn't take a second thought. And then I saw, holy crap, Remedy is developing for Sony. And so that was just a huge, thing for me to see. I'm going to get to play Remedy games again on my own turf. Right. Which is something, that's the one thing I missed from Xbox 360. But that was a huge deal for me. Yeah. That was probably the biggest surprise for me over the entire E3.
Well, since we're working our way up probably. I'll mention they showed Kingdom Hearts 3 here again. You'll notice that I picked Kingdom Hearts 3 as my top game from 3 of these conferences. We saw more Kingdom Hearts 3 at this show than we did anything else, probably. But this one was a completely new trailer. It showed off the Pirates of the Caribbean world.
You and Brody lost your freaking minds at this trailer.
I don't know how we couldn't lose our mind. First off, Sora had a new outfit. I'm pretty sure in the Kingdom Hearts... Well, maybe he did have a different outfit, and I just don't remember. It didn't look as cool as this one. Sora was freaking flying. He was swimming. He was using his Keyblade as a propeller to swim faster. He was driving a pirate ship doing Assassin's Creed water combat with boats, and it was just like, what? He was flying at one point. Like, I was so excited about what you were going to be doing in that world. That game is going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see what other worlds are going to be in it. The only other one I know of for sure is Big Hero 6, so that's the only one we haven't seen that we know about. I'm
excited to see that one.
That one's going to be so good. I can't wait. I hope they give... What would be awesome, since they've done a lot of these where like the world changes Sora physically, I hope he has like a superhero costume in that one. That would make me really excited, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, so I was really excited about that. But then Last of Us 2, that's what they opened with. That was a really, really cool trailer. They started off in a church scene. We got some story beats there. We're not sure if that's a flashback or if that was something that was present. And then what we saw next, where Ellie was going in this forest and was fighting these guys. We don't know if that was a flashback. Anyway, that game is so pretty. The combat is amazing. And I was watching a video of somebody just kind of like analyzing it. And there's just so many little things that you would miss. Like there's a moment where Ellie's hiding under a car and someone peeks down to see her. And when she gets shot, she obviously gets shot. But then it like takes the body a second to fall, like, which is what a real body would do. It wouldn't immediately just flop down. It would just kind of like take a second. I don't know. It was just like there was a lot of really small details that just like how it all happened and how it all worked. So much work and love has gone into that game, and I can't wait to play it.
The one thing I will say about that trailer, it was really pretty, very visceral, but it looks a little too good to be true.
I'm sure no one's actual gameplay will go as smoothly directed as that one did, but everything that happened, I felt like it looked like I could have done, you know?
The dodging mainly is what threw me into question. Because like, it just looked a little too, it's either going to be button prompty or it's just not going to be that way.
Yeah. I don't know.
I need to see more, but I mean, I adore Last of Us, so I'm in.
I'm excited that we're playing as Ellie. We still haven't seen Joel, so like, who knows what's happening? We heard about him in the church scene, which again could be a flashback. Somebody like he was like, "Oh, your old man talked to me today about something, whatever," and so it was like, "Okay, Joel's alive." But then when it went into the other spot, it was like, "Well, dang it, that could have been a flashback." Like, who knows anymore? So, I don't know. Yeah. I'm so excited to see that game. Was there any other ones that you wanted to mention, or should we just go on to the one we probably all care about most?
What was the fourth one?
It was
Spider-Man, Last of Us,
Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, okay. It was another trailer.
It showed some gameplay.
It did.
I still have no idea what we're really doing.
Yeah, I'm really hard on this game because I don't have a reason to buy it yet, other than the fact that it's Kojima. And so far, what we've seen is some really intriguing stuff, pretty visuals, but the gameplay they showed was delivering packages.
Yes. Yeah. So there's been some stuff circulating on, I think it was Reddit or something, that had like this whole synopsis of what you're trying to do, and it was something about the goal of the game is to get the baby and do something with it. And whatever you do, and again, I don't. This is like rumor, but like you're supposed to get the baby, and the baby is like some sort of entity, and you can alter the world with it. And so the goal is to get the baby to somewhere to alter the world in some way. And I assume
get the baby somewhere to do something.
I mean, we really just don't know. But
we don't.
I do think what's interesting, though, is I think the cinematics we've been seeing, I don't know that it's necessarily the story so much as a scenario. Kind of like, Ubisoft does the thing where it's like there are people talking in the demo, but it's like it's supposed to be people playing the game, not like actual dialogue. I feel like that's what is happening in these trailers. This is strictly a theory. But I feel like that's what's happening in all these trailers is Norman Reedus, his character is the player. And so I think he's supposed to be simulating like what we're going to go through, but it's not necessarily a story. This is just a theory. I have no idea if it's going to be right or not. But anyway, that was the other game. Brody's probably more excited about that than we are, but he did not mention that game as his number one from this when we were talking earlier.
I think, yeah.
Let's move on to the big boy, Ghost of Tsushima. Holy
Black Ops 4?
Crap. That game.
Yes. This is another one of those things where I'm a little proud of myself because I was pretty accurate with what we saw from Sony. I said we get a trailer from Last of Us that flowed straight into gameplay. And then I said Ghost of Tsushima would open up the show. And I was like, maybe we'll get gameplay, but I didn't really believe we would. But we did. We saw how this game plays, and holy crap.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It looks fun. It looks authentic. I just, oh my God, it was so cool. And like, we talk about games looking good graphically, but this was like on a whole nother level. It was cinematic. Like, every moment. They talk a lot about their inspiration comes from some older Japanese samurai films. One of the things they talked about is in every shot, there's something moving. So whether it's grass flowing or waves coming or a horse running by or something, they talked about there's movement. And they said every scene in this game, you will see movement. Like, that's always happening. I don't know, and like the samurai duel with the fire coming up, and it's just by the end of it, you're all in a blaze. Oh, it was just so like, freaking cool.
I was worried about this game that it would take a samurai concept and take it to somewhere more supernatural or mystical. And I say worried not because that wouldn't have been amazing. I would have played it and I would have loved it, but I wanted, I guess, more so the concept of a samurai to carry the game itself. Because now, like, the look of it, when you think of a samurai video game, this looks like the new standard. Because in the way you fight, you froze, sorry.
Oh, well, here, I want to jump in and say something. So the gameplay trailer we saw was awesome from Sony. Just to keep talking about this game, since then we've had plenty of interviews with the developers and all this and that. The whole game will be playable in Japanese. But the most interesting thing, you talk about the mystical elements. See, I kind of thought the ghost would have some sort of mystical abilities or something like that.
Yeah.
Not the case. I don't think there's going to be any mystical elements in this game at all. I think it's going to be very grounded and very realistic. So they talked about in the game, you are a samurai, right? And they talked about, in that culture, what that means, and like people will respect you, women and children may fear you, but like yada yada yada, samurais are just legends and are great. The quote unquote ghost, or they don't really call it a ninja, they just call it the ghost. There's two skill trees, samurai and the ghost. The samurai, you start off with everything. It's completely filled out. You can do anything a samurai can do, which is swords. They did mention archery, all sorts of stuff. You can build out gear for your samurai to either be have better armor, you'll be slower, but you'll be, defensive, or you can be a ghost. You can be kind of fast and move differently. The ghost, they talked about you don't want to be the ghost during the daytime because people will straight up attack you. And people will hate you if they see you as the ghost. So you're going to want to be dressed as a samurai in the day and only do things as the ghost at night. And the ghost can scale walls, can do all this and that. Obviously, he's going to have a lot of assassin-type things, throwing shuriken. They talked a lot about poison and alchemy. So that's probably the most mystical it's going to get is some sort of alchemy stuff. And you learn that from other people. Like there's an alchemist who's a side character who you can learn stuff from him and develop your ghost. Basically, you're building your ghost tree the whole game, but you have everything for the samurai. So it's just interesting. And like they talked about, as a samurai, you won't be able to climb as well. But supposedly, obviously in the gameplay trailer, we saw him as a samurai scaling a wall using his grappling hook, which is a ghost thing. So there's some things you can do that are ghostly as a samurai, but it all depends on how you're dressed and like what you're wearing. Like if you're wearing too much armor, you can't do any of that. So I don't know, man. There's so much going on in this game. It really reminds me of Witcher 3. And that excites me in a lot of ways because the only thing that could have made Witcher 3 better was if it had Japanese origins. And gosh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Nintendo. The stream that Steven did on his own. He's not have you pre-ordered your Switch yet?
No. There's some job related things that are up in the air. I can't make decisions like that. But okay, I've made the decision. I'm getting the Switch.
When you can.
I just don't know when.
Gotcha. Okay. I can deal with that. You could have just led with that. You could have just been like, no, but I'm getting one. Like.
Well, I was getting there, but then you did the eye roll and the.
Sorry, I just want you to have a Switch, okay? Nintendo's was a great conference too.
So I loved Nintendo's conference, and I thought it was pretty comical with me being there by myself. Because I'm sitting there talking to Jaeger, one of our subs in the chat, and I think Aaronator was there as well. And we're just talking about Pokemon. I asked him what their favorite Pokemon was and all this kind of stuff. And I said, can you guys hear me okay? Is the audio good? And then this Japanese metal song kicks. And then there's mechs on the screen. And you can see me. This is in the Daemon X Machina reaction video. I'm like, can you hear me okay? What? Like, it was just so sudden. And I'm just sitting there like, what is this? Oh my gosh. And they just keep showing more and more. And turns out it's this game being developed by the director of Armored Core, which is one of the quintessential mech games. So it looks like a mixture of Armored Core and Gundam, which give it to me now, like for real. And then there was one part when it was getting to its peak, I literally just went, tell me what this is, and then the gameplay and everything cuts straight to a title card, and it was almost as if they were like, okay, cut, and then title, because it was such a random place to stop, and it was called Daemon X Machina, and I was like, oh, it's like they heard me, but it looks awesome.
That's so funny because I watched that part of the trailer and I was just like, what is this? Why? I didn't care about it at all. But I'm so glad you and Brody are both so excited about it.
I love a good mech game. Like piloting big mechs, fighting other big mechs is cool. But what else? They did this little game that I was just a teensy bit excited about called Fire Emblem. Right.
They did show some of that.
I lost my mind. That was my Kingdom Hearts moment. Because, like, I did, again, because of the comments we've been getting, constructive criticism, let's call it, about maybe jumping the gun a little bit. Every single time I saw a anime-looking character, like inside I was like, this is Fire Emblem. Yes, Steven, yell Fire Emblem. This has got to be Fire Emblem. But I was like, hold on, maybe wait till you see
that was safe
the words
because there was
Fire
some
Emblem.
Xenoblade stuff that
Xenoblade,
happened.
yeah. And I did guess that was Xenoblade, but I didn't say Xenoblade because obvious reasons. But then they showed this other game, and I was watching, and I was screaming on the inside because it was like, maybe this is Fire Emblem. Maybe this is it. And then I saw F and I appear, and I went, like, my eyes started to roll back into the rest of my head. But, okay, so they showed gameplay. And something different to Fire Emblem in the past has been each unit is one hero. It's just one guy or girl, and whenever you send them to combat, they're attacking one guy or girl.
Right, but they had actual units, like it was a group with that hero.
So now it's a hero leading a group of soldiers. So now whenever you send them into battle, like if it's a spear hero with spearmen next to him, it shows the engagement, and he'll have spearmen charging around him, and then he goes and engages the other hero.
Right.
And so it's like less of a one-on-one, and now it's like actual massive battles.
Right.
Which it looks like it takes from Advanced Wars book, which is a game that was heavily inspired by Fire Emblem, which is a bit of a deep cut because they haven't had one of those in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's that's one of those like Animal Crossing for Fire Emblem, or for Advanced War. People are keep waiting. Like, why are we still, like, when is the next Advanced Wars going to come? We just keep doing Fire Emblem. Like,
yeah, it's a good game. Fire Emblem's just more marketable.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I lost my mind. That's coming. Did they say early next year?
It was just 2019 is all they gave us.
Okay, yeah, so that might be, I don't know.
I was hoping that would be one of the ones that would hit the March or May or March or June.
Same.
God, I can't speak. March or January window.
Yeah. It can wait now, though.
Well, yeah, it can wait. It probably could hit that window, but they may just be waiting to announce that.
Realistically, it probably should, because in the past, Fates and Awakening, I believe, both launched in January, February.
I really wouldn't be surprised if they were saving that announcement for a fall direct, to say, hey, Fire Emblem, it's coming out. Like, they'll probably do a really deep dive direct focusing just on Fire Emblem and then announce the release date there.
Yeah.
So, well, let me tell you where I lost my mind.
Fire Emblem looked great. That's like honestly, I was ready to pull the trigger on buying a Switch even after I saw Daemon X Machina.
Yeah.
But then when I saw Fire Emblem, it was like, oh, it's over. Well, I knew.
Let me tell you where I lost my mind. Mario Party. Super Mario Party. Complete surprise. Was not expecting it. And it's coming out later this year. I think it's in October, if I remember right.
October. It's October. It looked really cool. Like, I hate Mario Party just because it ruins friendships. But it looked really cool how they could, like, they were lining up the tablets. They really know their market well. Yeah. They know how to advertise the capabilities of their system. And I got to give props to Nintendo for that, because they're always showing, when they show their games, people in believable real-life situations using their system. Yep.
Which I don't know, other than maybe Brody, I don't know who else I could do the 2-switch system thing with. But anyway, they showed the new tabletop mode, which is called Toad's Rec Room, where you can, in tabletop mode, literally put the Switch on a tabletop, make your own board, and play some mini games. But then it's back to traditional Mario Party. There's no crazy Bowser mode or anything like that. The mini games, which was that was the big issue with
they
Mario
showed
Party 10.
So many mini games.
There's
and
so
they
many mini games. They look fun. They happen on a regular basis again, which was an issue for Mario 10. But they look fun. There's motion control, which was a big success of the Wii, Mario Party 8. It looks great. I am really, really excited to play it. I'm excited to stream it. When we do our extra live stream, you better bet we're going to do like 2 or 3 hours of Mario Party madness. I am really, really excited about that one. The other thing that I lost my mind over was Overcooked 2. For one, I predicted that would happen and be announced. And secondly, it looks awesome, and it's online co-op this time. So now I can actually get a group of friends together easily and play it. I might even get to beat this one. I didn't get to beat the first one because you cannot. You can play the game by yourself. It is impossibly hard. But anyway, that one was a huge excitement moment for me too. So Overcooked 2 was great. But
and that was it. There was nothing else at all at Nintendo's press conference.
Yeah, I wish. Then Smash. They spent probably, what, 20 or so minutes?
At least 24 minutes on Smash.
Jeez. So long.
Yeah.
But awesome. Everybody's there. Yeah. Everybody's back.
Everyone. Except for Waluigi.
Well, so technically Waluigi's never been in one other than an assist trophy. So...
Yeah, there's just been such an outcry.
Oh, yes.
And I've loved the memes that have come from Waluigi getting, and we don't know, he might be in it. We haven't seen an assist trophy yet.
No, we have.
Of Waluigi?
When they were explaining what assist trophies do, they used a Waluigi assist trophy.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Poor guy.
Yeah, no, it's unless they undo that assist trophy and do something crazy, Waluigi's not going to be in it, which I think is funny, but whatever.
I think it's hilarious. I don't like Waluigi.
Well,
I don't think he deserves a character.
It is what it is. But anyway, Smash looks awesome. I mean, I just don't have anything.
It does.
It's back to it's something new from Wii U. They've improved some things. They've changed some things. But they've brought everybody that's ever been on it back. They've
over
added
60 fighters.
Yeah. They've added, it's 65, right?
I think 65 or 6 with the inclusion of Ridley.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Inkling Kid was number 64, and then they announced
That's
Ridley
right, so it's 65.
So it's either 65.
No, 66, Daisy.
Oh, okay. Does she count as a whole other character? I thought she was just an Echo Fighter.
Mm-hmm. She's an Echo Fighter, but they count as characters.
Okay, well, anyway, then it's probably over 66 then too, because I think Shadow is an Echo Fighter. Anyway, it's a massive roster. I'm just excited because Lucario's there. That's all I wanted. Now I just hope they'll add the champions from Breath of the Wild. That's the only other character like that I want in the game.
They did say don't expect too many new fighters in this one.
Right.
Like I forget his name.
Sakurai?
You froze again.
Sakurai?
Yeah, Sakurai. Okay, there you go.
Papa Sakurai.
Yeah, he was saying we've worked really hard to bring every character back. So I hope you don't expect too many new fighters in this one, which is like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You guys have earned it.
I hope we at least get one or two other ones. And I think we will. Yeah. I think in the coming months leading up to its December release in 2018, Steven, I'll take my $40 later. Or
I was 1 month off. 1 month off. Because I said maybe January to commemorate the 20th anniversary. 1 month.
I thought November, so I'm 1 month off too, but it's still 2018, so anyway.
It's not out yet. It's not in your hand.
This is true. I feel like we've got to get at least one or two other new characters.
We will.
Honestly,
I think we'll break 70.
I really think the champions would be an opportunity wasted. I know there's a lot of Zelda characters anyway. I mean, hell, there's 3 Links. But the champions are just something you can't miss. And I don't even think we need 4 characters. I think it could be the champions character, and it could be like
Sheik, where you can switch between them, or Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, that, or even since they've announced Echo trainers, I don't know why it couldn't be one slot, and then the Echoes could be the 4 different champions. But anyway, I digress.
I just want. I would like to see Captain Toad show up.
That would be a fun.
I think he deserves it. I think Toad deserves to be something else in Smash other than Peach's meat shield. Talk about Waluigi getting the shaft. Toad has literally been thrown into the crossfire for every game, pretty much.
Although in this one, he now stands like he's defending her, and she's hiding behind him instead of her just like holding him out in front of her.
Well, that's good.
So, but yeah,
it looks great. It looks
the stages all look great. There's a lot of they brought a lot of stages back. It looked like they added a bunch of new stages. There's a Splatoon stage. I'm excited just to have it. You know what I mean? Like just knowing that we now have a Smash on Switch that can be played at any time, it excites me. So anyway, I'm excited about that. All right, so that's it. That's all our conferences. So
that's it. Yeah.
Why don't we rank the conferences real quick? What was your least favorite conference?
Square. Other than Square, so, I didn't even watch Square. I watched you watch Square.
Square sucks. So Square is last. What would you put above that?
Ah, man, above that.
For me, it's EA.
It's either. It's between EA and Ubi for me. It's EA because it's EA, and I'll explain why later.
Okay, well, so 6 for me, EA, 6 for you as well. 5th place I gave to Bethesda, but I'm wondering if you want to put Ubisoft there.
Games-wise,
I'm surprised you're this disappointed in Ubisoft because we talked a lot about all the stuff that happened at Ubisoft.
You talked a lot too.
Well, it's 4th for me. It's my 4th favorite. So,
are we rating press conferences based on the conference themselves or off of our enjoyment of them? Like what we're excited to see.
I'm rating it off of my excitement for what they showed. Yeah.
Okay. Then Bethesda next.
Okay.
But I think Bethesda had one of the better conferences as a conference.
Yeah. What do you think? 4th place. That's where I put Ubi.
Nintendo.
Really? Okay.
I mean, like Smash. I don't have a Switch yet, so it's like.
I guess that makes sense.
I'm not there, so above that for me, 3rd place would be. All
right. Well, I put Ubisoft there because, while I'm mostly only excited about Starlink at this point. The rest of it.
I'm gonna get you into Division 2.
I'm gonna get into it.
You're gonna play Division 1 for me.
Like Far Cry, where I'll play it with you, but I'm not gonna I have not touched Far Cry aside from our arcade streams. So, all right, let's see. That would make 3rd. So 3rd place I gave to Microsoft.
Okay.
Because they showed a lot, and a lot I care about, and a lot that I'm glad I don't have to play on an Xbox. 2nd place I gave to Nintendo. So wait, what are you giving 3rd place? Ubisoft?
Ubi.
Yeah, okay. So what's your 2nd place then?
Sony.
Sony is 2nd place?
Mm-hmm.
Is Microsoft your 1st place?
Microsoft is my 1st place.
Wow.
And here's why. They showed a lot of games that I wanted and did not expect to see that I will be able to play before too long. It didn't feel like an Xbox conference.
Right.
It just felt like a big games conference.
That's true.
And there was just a lot to see. The games looked fun. They showed a lot of gameplay, a lot of cool trailers.
Right.
But yeah, I enjoyed it the most.
All right, what about well, in that case, Nintendo is 2nd for me and Sony is 1st for me. So what would you want to name as the game of E3, Steven?
Personally, what I would name game of E3, it's a toss-up between, based on what we saw at press conferences, Division 2 or Anthem, but I'm more inclined to give it to Anthem.
Really? Mine, it's Ghost of Tsushima. Hands down, no debate, no question.
So what I'm basing this off of is, I guess, the information we received and the hype levels built from that information. So now that I've said that, for me, it goes to Anthem. We didn't expect to see this much from Anthem. We expected to see another trailer and some gameplay, but they actually sat down on stage, answered questions, gave us more information than we expected to get, went above and beyond with it. And it was just really cool to hear and see all that stuff. And then they gave us a release date that was way sooner than we thought.
Right. That's true. We didn't even get a window for Ghosts, so that was sad. But
Ghosts was one of those things that was like I was screaming heck yes the entire time, but it was like as far as E3 being like. For me, E3 sets the stage for the next year of games I can expect to see in my hand, almost.
Right.
Ghost, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get a release date till next year, like we talked about. And so for me, like as rating it as an enjoyment, hype levels game I'm getting between now and the next E3, Anthem takes it. Division's a close second, but just because. I don't know, Anthem's more of a newer entity, so the hype levels were already there for Division, whereas my hype for Anthem was...
I'll concede to that, because you're right, we'll be playing that by next year, so... Okay, fair enough. Anthem it is. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this episode of ChortleCast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a few things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at ChortleGames.com. You can leave us a comment on this video, maybe a like. If you enjoy what you see, we do this every Friday, so consider subscribing to us on YouTube. If you're an audio listener, you're probably listening through iTunes podcast services. We'd love it if you could leave a review. That really helps people find the podcast on iTunes. You can also email us at ChortleCast@gmail.com. If you have a news story you want to hear us talk about, or if you have a game you want to hear us talk about, or a video game topic you want to hear us talk about, you can send that to us there. We love that. Also, you can tweet us at Chortle Games on Twitter, and we'll tweet you back. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Chortle Games, and that's it. Yeah. So, anyway, is that it? Is that everything? I listed everything there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered our bases.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've got some great content as always. E3's over. Today was the last day. Thursday was the last day. We're done with all that madness. We will have streams tonight. I'm going to be playing the Octo expansion coming to Splatoon 2 tonight. And then we're going to be doing our Far Cry arcade. We haven't done that in a few weeks now because of some other crazy stuff that's been going on. So me and Steven will be doing that, playing fan-made maps. So if you have a map you want to let us know about, you can comment on this video or any of our videos, or just tweet us, something like that. We'll find your map and we'll play it. And then Saturday we do 2 streams as well. I believe we're going to let Steven finish Detroit, and then we're going to try some Destiny 2 because Steven broke down and got it again. So we might do a little bit of that. But then of course we've got a Let's Play every Monday. Tomorrow, or Mondays, is going to be me playing Octo expansion on Splatoon. I'm going to do a Let's Play of something that's in the game. I don't know what yet, so look forward to that. And then Tuesday, Steven does an XCOM series. You're probably getting pretty close to the end of your rope on that one.
Pretty close. I am taking my sweet time with that game because I haven't found a replacement yet, and people seem to be still enjoying it. So we're doing basically one story mission every week, building towards the final mission.
Gotcha. Well, anyway, if you want to be a part of that series, you can actually become a soldier in the game. All you have to do is comment your first and last name. They can be fake. A nickname if you got one. Any characteristics you want your character to look like, or class that you want him to be. Steven will put you in the game and put you to work in our Chortle Army. Then Wednesday, we're going to have a Let's Play of Party Hard 2, which is not even released yet. There's a demo that's going to come out, and so I'm going to have a Let's Play of that coming up soon. Expect me to fail miserably, because as we've seen in some live streams, and even when we did some Let's Plays of Party Hard 1, I tend to suck at those games. So anyway, we'll have a Let's Play of that. Expect it to be pretty funny. And then Thursdays we do a couch co-op live stream. Last night we did Black Ops Zombie mode. Not sure what we're going to do next Thursday, but we try to keep it as things that are either co-op or something where everybody's happening on one screen. Look forward to those. And then, of course, next Friday we'll have another podcast, 2 more live streams, and then 2 more live streams on Saturday. So a lot of stuff going on, Steven. You were telling me earlier this was a special day.
It's a special day.
Yeah?
It's a special day. 1 year ago, to this very podcast is when I did my first video with you guys and joined the channel.
The E3 Discussions podcast was it. There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Well, Steven, thank you. I, for one, appreciate all the work you're doing on the channel and helping us out. It's been great having you for a year. The Chortle anniversary is coming up soon. It's like 2 months away or so. So it'll be our second year anniversary of the channel. So that's exciting. If you're a new sub, if you sub to us over E3, thank you. Welcome to a fun community. We have a Discord. You'll see that in the description. Feel free to jump in there. Keep the chat running with us. We've got lots of great content, so we hope you'll stick around and enjoy it. Any final words? Any closing thoughts, Steven, before we let the good folks go?
Well, as soon as the screen stops freezing. There we go. Hey, you're back. Well, hope you guys had a great E3. We did. We'd love to hear what you thought of it. What was your favorite thing? What was your least favorite thing? Noteworthy mentions down in the comments or over on Discord.
Yep.
For those of you that have joined over the past week, welcome to the Chortle Fam. Chortle Army. What do we call ourselves?
Chortle Fam.
Okay,
Chortle Fam. So anyway, hey, look at that lamppost. We'll see you next time. Bye.